Hey everybody, welcome to our 1979 Mets replay, and we are playing game 52 versus the Astros. We are at Shea Stadium in beautiful downtown Flushing, Queens, and if you haven't been there, if you haven't visited, you should. Now it's not Shea anymore, but it's Citi Field, and the starting pitchers today is going to be Joe Negro for the Astros. Let me go over. Joe Negro was 21-11 with a 3.00 ERA, so he was an ace for the Houston Astros in '79, or one of the aces at least. And then for the Mets, it's going to be Pat Zachary. Now he was acquired in that earth-shattering Mets trade in 1977. Pat Zachary was one of the players involved in that trade. He came over from the Reds, and 5-1 with a 3.59 ERA in 7 starts. This happens to be one of the 7 starts. He had a total of 42 innings and 44 hits, and we're ready to roll. So it's going to be Terry Poole. He's a left-handed 23-year-old who plays center field today for the Astros. He was in the actual lineup for this game, game 52. And here's the roll. It's going to be a ball that's in play, and it's through for a base hit single. So Terry Poole had 30 stolen bases, was caught 22 times. So we are going to be or attempting to steal with Terry Poole. And by doing that, we're going to look over here at the steal rating. It's a 5. And I believe this number up here means he gets picked off. So let's see what happens. And that's what I believe I've heard through the grapevine. I haven't looked at the rule book. I don't think I've ever read it, really, to be honest with you. I have to look through it, but I think that's what I understand it being. So that's going to be a 6. Poole is a 5 to run, and it's not an 11, so he doesn't get picked off. So we move on. It's going to be Craig Reynolds. And we're going to get the little ambiance with the little background cheering crowd noise. And let's see, we rolled for that. It's going to be a 7 in play, and in play 52. In play 52 is going to be an outrange ball that's fly to left. Henderson there, 1 down. And scampering back to first is Terry Poole. And next is Cesar Cedeno, one of the most interesting players. I thought that he was quite a ball player in his day. He had amazing speed, played center field. He had some power on and off from what I remember. And here's the pitch from Pat Zachary. That's patient, 23. That's going to be a base on ball, so now you have runners on first and second. You got runners on first and second, and next is Jose Cruz. He bats from the left side. He batted .324 versus righties. Good average versus righties, but not such a good average versus lefties. Let's see what he does here. And that's going to be a tough pitch, 77. And that's lifted to center. Zilli puts it away for the first out now. Next is Enos Cabell. Enos Cabell is the Houston 5th place batter. He plays third base. Not a very good third baseman. He's got a range of F. I mean, that's as bad as it gets. So he's not impressing anybody with his glove skills. Here's an 8, a patient 0-6. Wow, we keep on rolling really low numbers. Patient 0-6, that's going to be a base on balls. So bases are loaded now for the Astros. And it's Jeff Leonard. And as we pull these cards, we're looking around. And what we want to do is actually cover some of these up. Jeff Leonard is a pretty decent player for a while there. About a .299 versus righties. The pitch from Pat Zachary, bases loaded. There's 2 outs. Mets infield is back with 2 outs. That's obvious. Well, thank me for stating the obvious. Hey, there he is. OG, the one and only. Welcome, my brother. And it's going to be in play 81. So I think Zachary is going to get out of this inning with a fly ball to center field. Running in comes Mazzilli. Going back goes Taveras, and he makes the catch. Mazzilli makes the catch for out number 3. So the Astros strand 3, leave the bases loaded. And I know that Zachary's glad about that. And we go to the bottom half of the first inning here at Shea Stadium, 1979. Now I'm thinking of starting a new channel. It's going to be called the 70s and 80s, and I really want to focus on late 70s and early 80s. And I that's one area that I really feel comfortable in, and not that I know that much. You know, I'm not an expert in that area, but I think it would be fun to just focus on an era that's unique. The 80s is called the forgotten era, and the late 70s is when I grew up, and I was a kid, and I remember that when I started to have my first memories. So I was thinking of doing something like that. So you may see me on a new channel pretty soon. I'm trying to work on the name of it. It's going to be Joe Youngblood leading it off for the Mets. The Mets have Joe Youngblood, Frankie Taveras, and Lee Mazzilli, 1, 2, 3. Leading it off against Joe Niekro. Now, Joe Niekro was an ace, so he's going to give the Mets a hard time, I expect. Look at that. That's a tough out right in the middle of his card. A tough out, 59. And that's going to be a fly ball to right. Jeff Leonard. 1 down. Frankie Taveras. And that's in play, 31. That's going to be, right outside of hit range. It's going to be lined and caught by the shortstop, Craig Reynolds. Craig Reynolds plays short for the Astros. Art Howe is at second base. Cesar Cedeno, who's a center fielder, normally I remember him as such, is playing first base. And Enos Cabell is at third. The catcher is Alan Ashby. Either was on, I think, the Blue Jays or will be on the Blue Jays, one of those. And Joe Niekro's on the mound. And that's a 6. That's going to be another tough out. 24. That's going to be a strikeout. Mazzilli down on strikes. That's 3 up, 3 down. Niekro dealing. Top of the second, no score. It's going to be Art Howe, Alan Ashby, and Joe Niekro. This is the bottom of the order, so hopefully Zachary can get through this without too much trouble. Patient 38 to Art Howe. Patient 38 is going to be lined single base hit to left. And Henderson gets it in quickly. Art Howe is not really a threat to steal. Not a threat to steal. He's a pickoff at 12, but we'll roll for him. What the heck? Nope, not going to happen. So Alan Ashby now the batter. He's a switch hitter, batting lefty. And that's a 4. That's a tough 65. Ooh, right outside of the hit area. He goes all the way to 60 with a hit there. It's going to be a ground ball, second base, and this looks like it's going to be a double play. It's a 4-6-3 double play. So Flint to Taveras to Montanez, and that's 2 outs. Oh, gotta go back. I misplayed that. I miswrote that. Let's go back. Double play, ground out, 4-6-3. Using I score on a pad on my right. The double play. And next is going to be the pitcher's card, and that's Niekro's a 3 batter. And we're looking at the 7 in play category, 98. That's way out of range, and that's a fly ball to left. And that's Henderson there for the 3rd out. Willie Montanez is leading it off. Left-handed first baseman, not very much power in 79 for the Mets, followed by Stearns and Steve Henderson. This team lost 99 games, and I'm playing through it for some interesting reasons, I guess. Patient, 39, and that's going to be a line base hit to right for Montanez. In the patient area or category, he goes up to 44 with a hit. 27 to 44 is a hit. We rolled a 39. So Montanez, not a threat to steal. He takes first base on that single. And it's John Stearns, the catcher. Now that's patient 57. Patient 57. He goes up to 52. So that's going to be out range. It's going to be a fly to right. Leonard. puts it away. Steve Henderson, the pitch to Henderson, that's a 9. Patient 14, that's going to be a base on balls. So Mets crowd here gets excited, and playing third base tonight is Alex Trevino. Alex Trevino is a right-handed batter, and versus righties, he bats .239 with no home runs. So he won't be knocking one out of the ballpark anytime soon. And that's a ballpark 0-4. That's going to put him in the wheelhouse range. 1-30 is a hit. We rolled a 7, so that's going to be a double. Runners advance 2 bases. How many outs? Only 1 out. So it's going to be second and third. Around to score is Montanez, and the Mets lead at 1-0. RBI double by Alex Trevino. Go Alex. Filling in for Hebner, who's injured or has an ailing back. And I watched an early 70s game, and they were mentioning how Hebner was out for a few games with an ailing back, so I know that from research. Here's Doug Flynn, second and third. Infield is you know what? Infield is back. It's very early in the game. After the 7th, I would go in a close game. So it's 6 is a tough out. That's going to be an out no matter what. 73. It's a fly ball to center. Out number 2. And it's the pitcher. Pitcher hitting card 5. Pat Zachary, not much of a hitter. And that's a 6. That's a tough out. And that's a 78. And that's a fly ball again to center field. The Mets leave 2, but score 1. And at the end of 1.5, actually 2.5, excuse me. Actually 2. We're at the top of the third now. And the Mets lead at 1-0. All right, Pat Zachary against Terry Poole. Poole is 1 for 1. He singled earlier in the game. First inning. Patient 61. A patient 61 is going to be a ground ball to short. Taveras fires to first. Gets Poole hustling down the line by half a step. Craig Reynolds, another lefty batter. He's a shortstop, and he's 0 for 1. That's a 4. A tough 91. It's going to be a line drive caught by the second baseman, Flynn. So he's right there to snag that line drive. Hit it right on the nose, but right at the second baseman. So there's 2 outs now, and it's Cesar Cedeno who walked in his first at bat. That's a 3 wheelhouse. A wheelhouse 16, not good news against a righty. And that's a deep drive to left field. Back goes Henderson to the track. Looks up. It's out of here. Cedeno ties the ball game with a 4-bagger. And I know that Pat Zachary wishes he had that pitch back. Excuse me. Got a frog stuck in my throat. It's an 11 defense, a defense 63. We're going to look at the number. 60 goes up to 61, goes up to 63. So if it's a range, it could be a potential hit. It's an error, so it won't be a hit. It's to the pitcher. It's going to be what kind of out? Out to the pitcher is a ground ball. So it's a comebacker to Zachary. Zachary plays his position, out number 3. But the Astros tie the ball game on the home run by Cesar Cedeno. And we go into the bottom of the third. It's going to be Joel Youngblood leading it off. Here's the pitch from Negro. Youngblood swings and hits a fly ball to center field. Terry Poole makes the catch. 1 down. Frankie Taveras. That's patient 70. That's way out of patient range. And that's a ground ball. Art Howe flips to Cedeno at first, out number 2. And now it's Lee Mazzilli. Lee Mazzilli's 0 for 1. Patient 12, that's going to be a base on ball. So Mazzilli walks, and Mazzilli can be a threat to steal, potentially. Let's look at the catcher's arm, just so we know and we're a little bit more comfortable with that. I hate surprises. He's a 3, so he's average, so we'll be running on average guys. We don't think about it too much, and Mazzilli's going to be going. Now, he has no pickoff numbers, so I guess he wasn't picked off. He had 34 stolen bases, caught stealing 12 times. So he's a C3, and we're going to look and see where that puts us on the cards. A C3. Let's take a peek at that. A C3 is right in normal range. See that? So when we pull the card, we'll look at the stolen base section. And a normal, oh, it's a stolen base and a potential error. So let's look at what the error rating is for Ashby. His arm is a 3, his error is a 4. So that means he is pretty decent. So that means we need to roll a 5 or a 6. And we roll a 2, so there's no error. It's just a stolen base. So Mazzilli is on second with a stolen base. He's in scoring position. And now it's Willie Montanez who's 1 for 1. So there's 2 outs, bottom of the third. Mazzilli takes his lead off second. Willie Montanez at the plate. He singled in his last at bat. It's a tie game, so Montanez has a chance here to put the Mets in front. Let's see what happens with the roll. It's an 8, which is an in-play roll, but it's a high roll. It's a 64, an in-play 64. It's going to be a ground that is short. Reynolds guns it to first. Montanez is out. Side retired. Enos Cabell coming up. Steps in the box. Pat Zachary for the Mets here in the top of the fourth. The pitch from Zachary. That's in play 48. And that's going to be popped up to the left side. Taveras, 1 away. Jeff Leonard. That's an 8 again. That's patient. A patient 79. That goes all the way up. His patient column goes up to 69. To 79, it's going to be a fly ball center field. Mazzilli. 2 away. And Art Howe in play 58. And that's when he Flynn to Montanez to retire the side. Mets are going to be bringing up Stearns, Henderson, and Trevino. So we're locked in a somewhat of a pitcher's duel at 1-1 right now. Here's John Stearns. That's a tough out, 57. And that's a fly ball to right. Leonard there, out number 1. That 6 roll is a killer for Necro because it's a tough out. You can't get a hit on that. 7 patient, a patient 79. And that's a fly ball center field. Terry Poole is there. And it's Alex Trevino who's 1 for 1. And that's a 5. A 5 is in play, 65. That's going to be a ground to second. Art Howe over to Cedeno. And that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. This game is really moving and grooving. Haven't played in a couple of days or at least in a little while. I played a few games without really recording. And this is 6 patient 93. A patient 93 against Alan Ashby. It's going to be a fly to left. And it's tough, a tough 83. That's going to be an outrange. Grounded to short. Taveras up with it. And that's 2 away. And now it's Terry Poole. Pitch from Zachary. It's impatient. 66, a patient 66, and that's in the outrange. That's going to be a ground that is short. Taveras again to his left. Fires to first, side retired. Go to the top of the 6th inning. Joe Necros facing the bottom of the order in Flynn, Zachary, and then the top of the order turns over. And that's a 6, a tough out again, a 39. That's an automatic out. If it's not a strikeout, 39 is going to be a grounded at first base. Cedeno takes it himself. Steps on the bag right ahead of Flynn. The pitcher, who's a 5 hitter, Pat Zachary, 12 in play, 73. That's an easy out. Flight out to center, Terry Poole, 2 down. And it's Joe Necro to Joel Youngblood. The battle of the Joels. And it's a ballpark 30. A ballpark 30 is going to be it's right-hand batter. It's up to 33 wheelhouse. So it puts it in the wheelhouse. So 1-22, and that ball's out of here. And it's a 55, and that's going to be outrange. Be grounded to third. Enos Cabell to first base, and that retires the side. So 1-1 ball game here in the top of the 6th inning. Craig Reynolds, the pitch from Zachary, patient 51. It's going to be outrange, and that's a fly to left. Cesar Cedeno, 9. In play, 54. So fly to right. 2 down. And it's Jose Cruz. Cruz is 0 for 2. He's flied out, grounded out. There's 2 outs. We're in the top of the 6th inning. It's a 1-1 ball game, so this is one you don't want to miss. And that's a 7. That's in play 0-5. And in play 0-5 is going to be lined, pulled down the line into the corner. Joel Youngblood after it. And around first goes Cruz into second standing with a 2-out double. So the go-ahead run is on at second in a very speedy runner. Jose Cruz, who stole 36 bases, but he also is he's a smart base runner with a run rating of 7. And we can roll for him to steal third, perhaps. If we roll doubles, he'll go. And it doesn't work. Enos Cabell now. After him, we have Jeffrey Leonard. Enos Cabell is 0 for 1 with a walk and a flyout. Here's the pitch. There's 2 outs. Let me set this up. It's 1-1 game, top of the 6th inning. There's 2 outs. The go-ahead run is at second base in the speedy Jose Cruz, and Enos Cabell, a 276 batter versus righty, is at the plate. Here's the pitch from Zachary. It's going to be a 9. It's in play 79. That's going to be an out. It's a fly ball center field. Mazzilli runs it down, and that retires the side. So we're moving and grooving here in this game. That's good because I got my dinner ready for me. It's a 3-game set versus the Astros at home. We have a homestand, so you'll get to hear the Mets meet the Mets theme. Here's the pitch from Joe Niekro to Frank Tavares, 7. Patient, 17. And Tavares walks. Tavares is always a threat to steal. We're going to take a look at this. And that's a 9. He has pick-off numbers of 10 and 12. And, excuse me, a 9 is going to be no good, right? So he doesn't run, obviously. And it's Lee Mazzilli. The pitch to Mazzilli is tough, a tough 70. Puts it in the out range. That's going to be a ground ball second base. We rolled a 10, so that's not going to, it's too high to be a double play. So it's going to be a fielder's choice. A 70 is going to be the second base. So it's going to be a 4-6 fielder's choice. 4-6. And it's a force at second. And Mazzilli's on at first now. Now Mazzilli's also a threat to steal. We'll see what happens there. Nope. Doesn't happen. Here's the pitch to Montanez, who's up next with 1 out. Mazzilli on at first. That's a 12. In play 70. In play 73. And that's going to be a fly ball center field. Poole makes the catch. 2 down for the Mets. And it's Johnny Stearns. Stearns is 0 for 2. He's flied out twice. It's a 9. It's a patient 29. A patient 29 is going to be a base on ball. So Stearns works the walk, and he's on at first. So we have runners on first and second. Mazzilli takes his lead off second. Stearns off first. There's 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th. It's a 1-1 game. Steve Henderson has an opportunity to change all that. Now, Steve Henderson batted .260 versus righties, but .395 versus lefties. And here's the pitch by Niekro. It's doubles, so it's going to be 4, ballpark 80. So that's going to put it in the in-play range. We're going to have to re-roll. And in-play 1 to 31 is going to be a base hit. 36, right outside of that. 30 to 31 is going to be a wild pitch too, but we rolled to 36. So that's going to be a pop-up to the second baseman. Pop up to the second base. Wait a second. What did I say it was? 36. Pop up to the catcher, excuse me, behind the plate. And that's the 3rd out. Here we go to the top of the 7th. Jeff Leonard. And that's a 3. That's wheelhouse. 29. You don't want to roll a 3 on Pat Zachary's card because it's wheelhouse, and that's trouble. 29 against a righty. Luckily, Jeff Leonard has absolutely no power, hit no home runs. So it's going to be a 29. It's going to be line drive, base hit to left. Henderson gets it in quickly. Leonard is a threat to steal for sure, and he's going to be rolling to go. A 12 would be a pickoff. And no, it's a 9, so he does not go. Art Howe, let's take a look. We may bunt with Howe. Howe is a good bunter. And then I would leave Alan Ashby. Yeah, we're gonna roll away. All right, it's a 6. Patient 81. That's in the out range, and that's going to be a ground ball to shortstop. That could be a double play. See what happens with that 6. Under Zachary's card, it's a double play, and under Art Howe's a double play. So it's a 6-4-3 double play. Taveras to Flynn to Montanez, and we're just double checking one thing. 81 would be yep. 2 outs now, and Jeffrey Leonard, the runner, is erased. So Art Howe, we're going to put him in the sleeve for doing that for us. We're going to take good care of him. Here at Shea. Thank you for hitting into that double play. And it's Alan Ashby. Alan Ashby, not much of a hitter. 230 versus righties. So it's tough. Tough 0-7. That's going to be a strikeout. Ashby down on strikes. High hard one. Got him. It looked the size of a beach ball when it was coming at him right towards his face. And he went after it, but nowhere near the strike zone. He looked completely baffled. Negro to Trevino. Patient, 20, base on balls. So that's a walk to Trevino, who may run, who knows. 3, nope. And Flynn, 11. Defense, 94. That's an out no matter what. So we're going to pull a card. It's to right field, and it's what kind of an out? It's a short fly to right field. Right there's Leonard, puts it away, and that's out number 1. Pat Zachary is going to bunt. Pat Zachary is a D bunter, so we're going to pull a card. A D is popped up, and that's to the pitcher. Negro makes that catch, and Trevino hustling back to first, gets back. So Zachary fails on his sacrifice bunt attempt and just pops up to the pitcher. And here's the pitch to Joe Youngblood. Youngblood's 0 for 3. It's a 9. Patient. A patient 75. That's outrange. Fly to center. And it's Joe Niekro. Joe Niekro's up. Pat Zachary versus Joe Niekro. Going to continue this pitcher's duel. We're in the top of the 8th inning. It's a 9. It's in play, and in play 32. That's going to be an out. That's going to be a grounder to Montanez, who flips to Zachary covering 3-1. And here's the pitch from Zachary to Poole. Poole is 1 for 3. That's a 3. Wheelhouse 26. A 26 is going to be a line drive base hit to right. So Poole's on with his second hit, and he's a threat to run. 5 or less, we rolled a 9. So he's not going. And it's Craig Reynolds with 1 out. And that's an 11. Defense, 97. That's going to be an out to the left fielder. I don't know that it matters. A short fly to left field. 2 away. Henderson is there. And we're going to protect Craig Reynolds as well. And it's Cesar Cedeno. Now Cedeno's 1 for 2 with a walk and a home run and a fly out. He's responsible for the only Houston run. 2 outs, top of the 8th. Zachary's still on the mound. 3, that's Wheelhouse again, but it's a 65 this time. So he just got away with a real fat one. It's a ground ball to 65 to second base. Doug Flynn to Montanez for out number 3. So that's going to be all for these pitchers in that. The next time they come up to bat, they're going to get pulled for pinch hitters. So we're winding down in terms of what they're doing. They've been outstanding. The Mets have only 2 hits and the Astros only 6. Here's Joe Niekro to Frank Taveras. Taveras is 0 for 2. That's a 5. In play, 81. That's going to be an out, no doubt. Popped up. Shortstop. 1 down. Mazzilli. 3. Ballpark. 46. He's batting lefty. 46 is Wheelhouse. So we got a Wheelhouse here versus a right-handed pitcher. 1 to 24. That ball is gone. It's a 45. That's going to be line. Base hit for Mazzilli. Mazzilli is a threat to steal. We're going to roll to see if he goes with 1 out here. That would be a great opportunity. And that's a 3. So Mazzilli's going. And we already saw that he was normal. And a normal is safe. So that's his second stolen base of the game. So Mazzilli singles, steals second with one out. We have Willie Montanez. He's going to be facing Necro. Here's the pitch from Joe Necro. It's a 6. It's a tough out. That's an out no matter what. 94, fly to right. 2 down. And the go-ahead run is at second base here at Shea Stadium. Lee Mazzilli takes his lead. John Stearns is at the plate. John Stearns is 0 for 2 and walked in his last at-bat. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Joe Negro, the starter, still in the game. That's a 9. That's patient. A patient 57. Patient 57 is right outside of the patient range, effective range. And that's going to be a fly to right field, short right field. Jeff Leonard comes in, makes the catch, side retired. Mets strand a runner in scoring position. Mets offense has been non-existent, practically. Here's Jose Cruz. There's action in the Mets bullpen. There's a lefty and a righty out there. There's Ed Glynn, and it looks like that's Murray. So that's going to be 4 tough. A tough 34 is a base hit single for Jose Cruz, and Cruz is a threat to steal. 6 or less, and he goes, and we rolled a 3, so he will be going. He's a C, and Stearns is a 3, so we're looking at normal. Normal is safe at second. Under the tag. Stolen base for Cruz. And it's Enos Cabell now. Enos Cabell. And that's a 6. Patient 20. Patient 20 is going to be a line drive into left. Runner advances 1 base. So Cruz stops at third, and it's first and third now. Infield is going to be in. No doubt, this is a no-brainer. It's the top of the 9th inning. The Astros are up. It's a tie ball game, 1-1. There's nobody out, and the Mets are going to bring in. This is Jeffrey Leonard. Actually, Enos Cabell could potentially run. I'm going to roll to see. A 6 or less, he goes. And it's a 7, so he does not. So right now, we're looking at bringing in. I want to see real quick, see who played in this game. Who's that? John. How you doing, John? Get the bullpen going. It's going, man. We're looking in there right now. Let's see. I'll tell you who they used in this game, so then we can choose the best player. Mets used Scott, Falcone, and Twitchell. This is a game where they lost 5-0. And the Zachary only went 5 innings. Gave up most of the runs. So by the time, they started bringing in these pitchers, so out of those 3 players, it's a close game, so that makes it a little bit different. I'm going to bring in Murray, who's somebody they normally bring in a closer game. It's a guy who's more at that level. So we're going to bring in Murray, just because it's a different kind of game. Not that he's a great pitcher. I mean, his ERA was 4.82 with a 4.8. But we have to kind of play it close to reality. We didn't know what his ERA was going to be at that time. So Murray's in there. And Murray's probably going to get pulled. I'm going to put him into Zach's spot in the 9th hole. All right. All right. Let's go Mets. And I'll set this up. It's an exciting situation here. The Mets are tied. Mets and Astros tied 1-1. We're in the top of the 9th. There's nobody out. Shea Stadium in beautiful downtown Flushing, New York. Flushing, Queens. Jose Cruz is on at third. Enos Cabell is on at first. The Mets infield is in on the grass. Jeffrey Leonard, a .299 batter versus righties, is going to be facing Dale Murray. Let's see what happens. We need a strikeout is what we need. A 4 in play, 0-0. That's going to be an unusual play with runners on base. Let's see what that becomes. God knows. Let's look and see. Payoff pitch, rare play they call it. I call unusual play, rare play. So we're going to roll, see what happens. There's no injuries and there's no rainouts. So it's a 3. B, C, and D or F catcher unable to block pitch, pass ball. Runners advance one base. That's not good. Because there's no way that Stearns is an A. Stearns is a range B. And it said B, C, and D catcher unable to block pitch. So it's a pass ball. Both runners move up. Astros lead it 2-1. So there's silence here in Shea Stadium. All right. So Jeff Leonard is still at the plate. Nobody out. Enos Cabell is on at second. The Astros are up 2-1. Here's the pitch from Murray, 5. In play, 0-1. That's not good. In play, 0-1 is going to be a line drive into the alley in center field. After it is Mazzilli. And runners advance 2 bases, so Cabell is going to score. And that's going to be a double for Leonard. A double for Leonard, advanced by batter. Oh, I'm sorry, man, I missed that. I missed that comment. And it's going to be Leonard's going to pull up at second base with a double. And it's going to be Art Howe. Here's the pitch from Art Howe. That's a 9. Ballpark, 42. A righty. That's going to put it into the in-play range. And that's going to be a 24. In-play 24. That's going to be a grounder up the middle and through. Runners are going to advance one base with no out. Stopping at third is Leonard. And Art Howe is on at first with a single. And that, I believe, is going to be it for our boy Dale Murray. He did nothing more than allow hits. So Alan Ashby's a switch hitter, but he bats versus lefties, bats 134. So guess who we're bringing in? We're going to bring in a lefty. Ed Glynn joined the ball club by this time. We're in the middle of June. Ed Glynn, I started seeing him pop up, so I pulled his card out. His card was available thanks to Payoff Pitch and Brian, Joe Bryan, who's amazing. And it's going to be Ed Glynn. Ed Glynn, we may pull a double. You know what? We're not going to pull a double switch here. Okay, there's nobody out anyway, so he'll definitely get an inning of pitching in. So the Met infield is in. Here's the pitch from Ed Glynn, a lefty. Glynn was 1-4 with a 3 ERA in 46 games. That's a 3. Ballpark, 73. That's going to be in play. In play, 39. In play, 39 versus a lefty is out range for sure. It's a ground ball to third base, but we have to look now because the infield is playing in. Mets do not want to allow any more infield in. Bases are not loaded, so we're going to look at down here. If bases are not loaded, all right, let's roll. And that's going to be a 10. Ball sneaks past the infield. Runners advance one base. Base hit for Alan Ashby. Got one through the drawn-in infield. Hit it hard enough just to scoot by Willie Montanez's glove. And it's a 4-1 Astros lead now. And this is becoming depressing. So it's first and second. Alan Ashby on at first. Art Howe at second. Nobody out. Joe Niekro is going to bunt. Niekro is an A bunter. An A bunter. He bunts it to third base. Trevino over to first. And that moves both runners. So you got Art Howe at third, Ashby at second, and Terry Poole is the batter. That's going to bring the, actually he's a lefty, so the Mets are going to leave it that way. The infield is in. 8, a patient 84. That's going to be out range. It's going to be a ground ball, second base with the infield in. Going to roll 2d6, see what happens again. And that's a 4 this time. And that's going to be, 4 is going to be batter out, runners hold. Batter out, runners hold. So in 86, it was 4-3. Two out now, and it's Craig Reynolds. We're in the top of, there's runners on second and third, two outs, top of the ninth, 4-1 Astros. And Ed Glenn came in to pitch to Ashby, so we're going to pull out real quick out of the game, and I never wrote him into the actual gameplay situation. He pitched to Ashby. Yep, he's coming in to face Ashby home, and it was Ed Glenn, the lefty. There he is. So he's in the game. Here's the pitch from Glenn to Reynolds. Reynolds is a left-handed batter, shortstop, and he batted .278 versus lefties. He's 0 for 4 today. That's a 7. That's tough. A tough 96. That's the outrange for sure. And that's a fly to right, inning over. But the Astros pick up 3 huge runs and now lead it 4-1. Mets last licks here at Shea. See what happens. Can the Mets perform an amazing comeback? Steve Henderson, he's 0 for 2 against Joe Niekro, trying to go the complete game. He had 11 complete games. This seems to be one of them. It's in play 26, and in play 26 is base hit for Henderson. Henderson won't be stealing right down by 3 runs. Here's the pitch to Trevino. That's a 9. Patient 13. That's a base on balls. So that's a walk. There's action in the bullpen now for the Astros. And it's Doug Flynn, Mr. Clutch. Here's the pitch. That's an 8 in play. 7. Ooh, wait a second. That die is cocked. I'm going to have to re-roll that. It's a 28, but I don't think that's going to do it. 28. It's in play 20. Had it been patient, perhaps. No, not even patient. Or versus the lefty would have done better. It's a in play 28, and that's going to be outrange. That's going to be popped up right side. Cedeno. 1 out. Now, pinch hitting in this game was Bruce Beauclair and Maddox. Bruce Beauclair is going to pinch hit. I like bringing guys, unknown guys, and they always end up doing something for me. It's hilarious. Bruce Beauclair, a lefty, is going to pinch hit right now. Runners on first and second for the Mets, so Bruce Beauclair is actually the tying run. And does Beauclair have a triple? He does. A 9 is a triple. We need that. He doesn't have any home runs versus righties. Here's a 1-out pitch here in the bottom of the 9th inning, 4-1 Astros lead. But the Mets have Trevino on at first, Henderson on at second, Bruce Beauclair, the tying run at the plate, pinch hitting for the relief pitcher. That's an 8. That's in play 56. And in play 56. That's going to be outrange. That's going to be a fly to left. Cruz going back. Makes a catch. So the Mets are down to their last out, their final out. Joel Youngblood, who has decent power, 1-22 against righties. He's the tying run. We need a wheelhouse. We need a snake eyes. Oh, we got a 4, which is ballpark. That'll do. 30. A ballpark 30, but wait a second. A 30 is a wild pitch. So that's not, unfortunately, doesn't help us out. But it's a wild pitch. Both runners are going to move up. We don't get the wheelhouse, unfortunately. But both runners do move up. And Joe Youngblood, the pitch from Niekro, 2 out. That's a 5. In play, 51. Oh, boy. And that's going to do it. Ground ball. Enos Cabell fires the first. And that's the final out. Mets made it exciting. Huge excitement, fans. Huge excitement. Okay, Mets never fail. They never disappoint. The 79 Mets lost 99 games. I'm going to lose 101 just to show everybody. Joe Niekro gets the win. The loss, unfortunately, goes to Pat Zachary, who pitched a heck of a ball game while he was in there. I'll give you the line score. The Astros, 4 runs, 11 hits, no errors, 7 left on base. The Mets, 1 run, 4 hits, no errors, and 9 left on base. The Mets just couldn't get anything going. So we're going to start setting up for the game number 2. But first, we're going to go get some dinner. It's freezing over here in San Antonio. It's like 25 degrees. That's the coldest it'll probably be the whole year. So everybody, this is Combat Painter signing off, and I really am enjoying this replay because of all the also ran unknown players, non-superstar players. I don't need a guy for $300,000 or $300 million, right? It's a tough loss. It is a tough loss, man. They hung in there until the top of the 9th inning, and that's when the Astros came up with 3 runs, and the Mets. Murray really had a tough time. He just couldn't get anybody out, Dale Murray. He eventually moves to the he's carded with the Montreal Expos, so he moves out there. But the great thing about the Mets, man, they're also rans. They're unknowns, and I bring Ed Creampool in there with the game on the line, and he comes through with a double, and the Mets, they take the lead, and it's crazy stuff like that. Or Bruce Beauclair will show up and he'll walk and keep the inning going, and I love that. Just unknown guys, because baseball is all about that. Okay, baseball is about the unknown guy doing the little things. He's just hustling, taking that outside pitch for a ball rather than swinging at it and trying to get himself a hit. He takes it because he wants to get on base. He's leading off the inning, so he's sacrificing. It's about making that little fielding play. Reading the batter, just paying attention, snagging a line drive, being in the right place at the right time. Those are little things that make baseball beautiful. Not necessarily the walk-off home run, which is great and it's exciting, but that doesn't happen every day, right? I play game and game and game. I don't think I've had any walk-off home runs the whole time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so 70, there's something really romantic about Bazilli and Flynn were part of that team. There's something really romantic about the late 70s and early 80s. 81 strike didn't hurt me the way 94 strike. So I have an aversion for 94. Like anything beyond 94, because I think this whole steroid era and it came about because they were trying to regain the fans that they lost in 94. And they allowed, players to really, use all kinds of performance enhancing drugs just to drive attendance, to drive the home run derby type atmosphere, just because they wanted to revive the game. And I think they went in the wrong direction. And again, it was all about profit, making profit. They let everybody down with the 94 strike. That was heartbreaking to me. I was really into baseball at that time. When they had that strike, I think I was rolling APA at that time. And I was rolling the APA season. All of a sudden, the box score stopped. For that season, I was rolling this for the previous season, but all of a sudden the box score stopped, and I was like, "What? A strike? What are they talking about?" Right? They went on strike in August, then they came back later. It was a nightmare. They threw everything off. So I don't even think about 90. I think the last time I get excited, the last season I get excited about is 92. But I really like the early 80s, 83, 84, 85, 86 Mets, right? 87, they were in there. They had good teams. They suffered some injuries, and that kept 88. They should have beat the Dodgers. Oh man, that kills me. That's suffering, pure suffering. But anyway, that's it for my rant for tonight. I'll see everybody later. I told you guys about the channel I'm thinking of creating, 70s and 80s. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it. I think like the Forgotten Era or something like that. I saw an article on the 80s called the Forgotten Era, and that would be cool. Forgotten Era, tabletop, baseball, or I don't know, something. I'm thinking something in that style. So anyway, I'm going to go have dinner. Have not had dinner, and then I'll set up another game. So thanks for stopping by, and I heard a great game by Stratomatic. Somebody Stratomatic. He ran a game. It was an old '69 game using Payoff pitch. I think it was the Giants and somebody else. And oh man, that was so relaxing. I was driving home from work, and I was like I really like that. You know, I like the low key stuff. I don't like too many bells and whistles. Just I kind of like the low key guy just rolling and talking to you about the game, basic, simple game. Anyway, it's like a purist type thing. Anyway, all right, guys, take care. All right, say hello.